ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರೇ, ಈಗ ಬೇರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಟನಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. This is only the option.
Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has pitched a 190-kilometer tunnel road as the only solution to Bengaluru's traffic mess. He says it's inevitable given the high cost of land acquisition for road widening. His supporters call the tunnel road futuristic, a project that will cut travel time and ease pile-ups. But critics warn that it's a 85,000 crore gamble, one that could worsen congestion, lock the city deeper into car dependency, and serve a wealthy minority while leaving the rest of Bengaluru behind. Let's be honest, if you've ever lived in or even visited Bengaluru, you know traffic here isn't just an inconvenience, it's practically become the city's identity. In 2024, a global index even ranked Bengaluru the third worst city in the world for traffic. So when the government proposes something as massive as this underground tunnel road, of course it grabs attention. But as with every mega project, the devil is in the details. And the real question here is this tunnel really the fix for Bengaluru's needs, or is it just another expensive distraction? And if not this, what are the alternate solutions? Let me explain. At the News Minute, reporting on civic issues isn't a one-time headline. It's a commitment. We approach every story with a holistic lens, from on-ground coverage to deep research, from expert voices to perspectives of all stakeholders. Because at the end of the day, these issues shape your everyday life. If you value this kind of journalism that goes beyond sound bites, journalism that connects the dots and gives you the full picture, then do support us by becoming subscribers of the News Minute and News Laundry. Because we can together keep this kind of reporting alive. I know that I can count on you just like you can count on us to keep issues that are important to you right at the center. Write to me at lme@thenewsminute.com with your feedback on this episode, and also do suggest what topics I can take up in my future episodes. So let's look at what exactly the tunnel road plan is. The project imagines a 190-kilometer underground corridor for cars. Phase 1 is an 18-kilometer 3-lane twin tunnel from Hebbal flyover in the north to Central Silk Port in the south of Bengaluru. Another corridor from KR Puram to Mysore Road has also been proposed. Together, the two would cost 42,000 crores. And if the original 190-kilometer dream is pursued, estimates would cross 85,000 crores. The logic here is simple. Bengaluru is choking. Elevated roads are difficult because land acquisition is nearly impossible in a densely built city. Expanding surface roads means chopping thousands of trees. Metro construction has been really slow. Officials argue tunnels are a futuristic alternative, pointing to Mumbai's coastal tunnel as a model. They say Belgian tunneling experts have confirmed the city's geology to be suitable. So in July 2025, the government invited global bids, and it was decided that the cost will be recovered through hefty tolls, reportedly as high as 660 rupees per trip. So let's look at the red flags. Opposition comes from three fronts: ecological risk, financial burden, and urban mobility. Nearly half the city depends on borewells. Cutting through that system could disrupt natural flows, leaving borewells dry. And then there's flooding. The city already struggles every monsoon. At huge underground cavities, and even one heavy rain or a broken pipeline could turn tunnels into giant flood chambers. On the surface, every tunnel ramp needs several acres of land. Officials have already said that 80 acres will have to be acquired. That means more trees will be cut. So instead of easing traffic, the project risks trading one crisis for another. The biggest issue is that there's no environmental impact assessment, that's EIA. This could be a dangerous oversight, especially after collapses in tunnels under construction in Uttarakhand and Telangana recently. Besides, at 450 crores per kilometre, Bengaluru simply doesn't have the money for this version of the tunnel project. Then comes the most fundamental objection. Bengaluru's problems isn't missing roads, it's too many vehicles. Cars occupy 8 times more space than buses. Build new car-only infrastructure and you encourage more car use, a phenomenon called induced demand. Even government bodies themselves have raised alarms. DULT warned the tunnel alignment runs close to metro corridors, risking safety of existing structures. It flagged choke points where ramps are unfeasible without land acquisition. BMLTA noted that the tunnel conflicts with the comprehensive mobility plan of Bengaluru, which targets 70% of trips on public transport by 2035. Car-only tunnels do the exact opposite. It also contradicts city's climate action plan, which aims to cut transport emissions. IISc warned that the tunnel could slash metro ridership by almost 6.5%, undermining a system built with thousands of crores of public money. They also called car-centric projects inequitable, serving a few while worsening congestion for the rest. Outside of government agencies, hundreds of people recently gathered to protest the current plan for the tunnel road.
Beku, beku, bus beku, beda, beda, beku, beku, bus beku, beda, beda.
Civil society groups argue that this isn't just about traffic. It's about social contract, whether Bengaluru's infrastructure serves the common citizen or just the privileged car-owning elite. Yes, tunnel roads exist worldwide. Tokyo, London, Sydney, and closer home, Mumbai. But these cities already have robust public transport backbones. Tunnels act as supplements and not substitutes. Bengaluru lacks that foundation. So what are the better solutions? Let's be clear. Bengaluru doesn't have a road problem. It has a mobility problem. So the fix isn't more lanes or tunnels, it's moving more people more efficiently. Unless there's a massive shift to public transport, the city will remain gridlocked. Yet, in 18 years, Bengaluru has just built 75 kilometers of metro. Compare this with nearly 390 kilometers in Delhi. Instead of pouring 85,000 crores into tunnels, that money could finish the metro and build dedicated bus lanes. The suburban rail could reduce the burden from our roads to a great extent. BMTC buses already carry more people than cars and two-wheelers combined, but the fleet is just 6,600 for a city of 1.3 crore. Bengaluru currently needs at least 12 to 15,000. Most people skip public transport because of first and last mile gap. Shared autos, e-bikes, feeder shuttles, and safe walking and cycling paths could fix this. Cities like London and Singapore invest heavily here. Bengaluru barely has. In most cities, new IT parks or malls can't break ground without a traffic impact assessment. Bengaluru has no such rule, which is why a single SEZ can choke an entire corridor. So bring in an integrated land use planning. This isn't just about traffic. It's about choosing the kind of city Bengaluru wants to be. Do we spend billions on a car-only tunnel which serves a few, or invest in affordable, reliable transport for everyone? Because the real solution isn't underground. It's out here, in buses, trains, bikes, and pavements. And the real question isn't can we build a tunnel? It's why should we, when all the evidence says it won't solve the problem. Before I go, here's a quick reminder to read my colleague Nidhi Suresh's story on the Kerala nun who had accused Bishop Franco of sexual assault. She's broken her silence for the first time, and this is a long piece which I assure you is worth your while.